Almost 5 years ago, one man set out to accomplish something that no one has ever done. Well, many have, but he also wanted to try. His name was Travis Kenney. He decided to start a podcast along with half the nation, who also wanted to start some sort of podcast because they feel they are important and people should listen to them. Travis Kenney started a podcast to interview his buddies, his pals, his friends, past, present, and current. Goalbuddycast was birthed from this thought. He brought many people on and tagged them on social media to gain more followers. Over time, he decided that he needed to also create shows with reoccurring hosts such as Joey Hollenbeck, Sean McDonald, his brother Adam Kenney, who also created like 5 or 6 shows that just kind of petered out, and then he created a new one. But that's beside the point. Now, in your ears, whether you're listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, YouTube, or the Libsyn page, you are about to listen to an episode that needs kind of an introduction. The episode you're about to listen to is a full Buddycast presentation. Please enjoy.
You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.
Goalbuddycast. Goalbuddycast. Goalbuddycast.
Oh yeah, I think that they like to interact with that.
I think you need to put on top of there. I think you need to do one of those gifts that's like tap here for more info.
No, that's so dumb. That's a really good idea, actually.
I'm just saying because like if you're
Get those headphones on, mess up that pretty hair, and I'm listening.
Is that Matt Fugit hair?
Is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, well.
It didn't look like it. All right, so everyone, thanks for listening to Goalbuddycast. What this is, it's a goal appreciation podcast where we appreciate you listening and we appreciate your goals. We've got...
That's a terrible intro.
Actually, Adam's going to handle the intro. He's supposed to write it up.
I didn't write it up.
Yeah, so you
that
get
was
what
my
I get.
one goal. So Goalbuddycast. Thanks for tuning in to Goalbuddycast. Goalbuddycast is a podcast where we, and by we I mean Sara Johnson, Travis Kenney, and his brother Adam Kenney, myself, we like to talk about goals. We inspire each other. We talk about things that we want to do for this month. We talk about things that we tried to do last month. And we also like to interact with you all, the listeners, and we want to hear what your goals are. We'd like to share those as well.
Yeah, and we're going to read off some of you guys. Some of you messaged me throughout the month, tagged us in it, whether it's stories, whether it's just messages to me or texts saying this is what they're doing, this is what you're doing. Maybe even you guys got some, Sara and Adam. I'm not sure if you guys did.
I did not.
Okay, well maybe
I feel like I'm intimidated.
maybe that's your goal. So Adam, you kind of sent out a text earlier today talking about like what you wanted, how you wanted the show to go.
So the way we're going to format this, just so all you listeners know, all you lovely listeners.
Oh, did that sound weird?
Was that?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That
just
was my
adjusting
chair.
my chair. That's a recurring thing.
That is a recurring
So what we're going to do,
joke.
we're going to start with going around the table. We're going to talk and hear from Sara, and then we're going to hear from Travis, and then we're going to hear from myself. I think that's a good, since I'm talking a lot up front. And we're just going to talk a little bit about our last month's goals and how we did and get some insight into that. And then after that, we're going to share the goals of you, the listeners, and then we're going to talk about our new goals or habits for the next month. I think we could potentially, what do you all think about if anybody had some insights into maybe some things that you learned about goals and what worked for you and habits and stuff like that. Maybe we could put kind of a little section about things that really mattered to you this month in terms of achieving goals in between when we're finished sharing how we did last month and before we get into listeners. What do you think about that? Okay, I'll just lead it.
Go for it.
All right. So Sara, how was your month?
Okay. So it's interesting because, I do a lot of business from Friday to Sunday. And then Monday's more residual for me. But I have noticed, because I've been super diligent on my habit tracking, that I've been noticing that I fall completely off on those days. And now, granted, I am doing, 12, 14-hour days. But it doesn't mean, I don't want that to mean that I completely fall off and then I have to jump back on the wagon next week and I feel like disoriented and like that I've gotten behind. But that is what I feel like every single weekend. So, and my schedule is opposite of most people's. Like I'm Friday through Sunday and Monday is a half day, but still super busy. So, I've been really noticing that. And then I've also really been noticing that if I don't go to bed at a good time, that I am a piece of crap. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've also noticed that you're a piece of crap too when you don't get your sleep.
Because I send him drunk text messages late at night talking crap about people.
Okay. All right, so we're going to
seriously though.
Yes.
Okay, outside of that, because that's a joke, but
not really.
kind of. It's sort of a joke. It's like one of those jokes that are for real but funny, but not very funny.
This is how I imagine your text messages are when you send these to me. Like how you just said that.
I've been drinking wine.
Have you? Tonight? Were you at Bordeaux?
I was at Bordeaux.
This is going to be great. This is going to be great.
I was at Bordeaux. Blame it on Kim. Blame it on Kim.
Blame it on Kim. I like that.
I love Kim. I
she's
love
great.
Kim and John.
They're great.
People.
Aren't they great sponsors?
They actually brought me to know my dog Howie, and that is how I adopted Howie.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Kim and John and the Porterhouse property crew, and then specifically Corey, who's another owner of Bordeaux. Corey was a catalyst in me getting Howie, and I will tell you right now, he's the best dude that ever happened in 2020. If I didn't have Howie in 2020, I probably wouldn't be here to talk about goals.
Oh boy.
Well, we just got deep.
Yeah, we did.
So anyway,
let me ask you, Sarah.
Yeah.
What was your goal from last month?
I more so had habits that I was
Right.
trying to reach just to like help me get to a place of goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really realized is that like my lifestyle doesn't leave me in a place that I can be super consistent on those things. And I know that so many people say this and you have to like get over it. That like, oh, I'm so busy, I can't do this. But it's really like Friday through Sunday, I'm doing so much manual labor. And then also like communicating with customers and things like that, getting ready for my really big Sunday and Mondays deliveries, that I am maxed out on time. Like I'm not able, that's why I've been late the last 2 times. I've been 10 minutes late at least.
Yeah.
I just
gotta get some wine.
I'm trying to get, well, today I did try to get some wine. I did have to get my hair cut and I got my window replaced.
Sounds like it's a real hellish nightmare.
Oh my God. I'm just like trying to get all this wine in. And I'm trying to do these things.
Get my hair good.
But that actually leads me into a really good thing that I wanted to talk about today about future goals, is that like if I'm drinking, I am my worst version of myself. Go along though with like if I have even, a glass or 2 of wine or a bottle that I will not be productive the next day.
Yeah.
Like that is what happens. And I really that's what I want my goals to be focused on in April, that I want to, and I'm always trying to like be the healthiest version of myself, but with me being really diligent, a lot of times I give up on really tracking myself on my habit tracker or whatever, but it's like because I knew that I was going to hold myself accountable with you guys, or you guys were going to hold, or Adam was going to hold myself accountable, because we know that Travis was never going to hold me accountable.
No, never. That's
But-
actually my goal.
Sarah, I am very disappointed in you.
Yeah, I wanted that
I'm kidding.
shame from you guys.
Okay, no.
Well,
Shame's no good.
So
Listen, no, you shut up.
okay.
Shut
Now,
up.
I've
just
been
shut up,
reading
shut up.
about shame,
Yeah.
and shame is a really important concept for people to understand. Shame is the difference between guilt or like conviction, and shame is that with guilt or conviction, you know you've done something wrong. Shame is where you feel like there's a problem with you. Like you are wrong,
Right.
and there's no way to improve yourself, right? So shame maybe has its place at times, but it's nothing to live in, right?
Right.
So I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
trying to
such
throw
a
shame
great
at you.
point to bring in is that like I don't think I live in shame, but I do think that like if I am, you know, being too much fun,
That's a nice way to put
then
it.
I wake up the next day or
Sure.
the next couple days and think like, gosh, you know, last night was so much fun and it was fun to stay up late, but I'm paying for it now triple fold. That like, you know, a great example of that was, what night did I meet up with you and Katie and Mike, Travis?
What about 3 times
was it-
this month?
Thursday or Wednesday?
Yes.
I think it was Wednesday.
Was it when we met?
It was Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
It was Wednesday
yes.
night,
Yeah.
and just like a couple of my friends met up. I wasn't getting drunk. No one that I know of was getting drunk. But everyone was cool. But the fact is that I just stayed up later than what I usually would.
Yeah.
And then
Because you live far away.
I do. I live about 45 minutes away. And so when I leave, I need to go home and then like settle in, get ready for bed,
Get Howie.
go to
yeah,
bed,
Right.
snuggle Howie for 2.5 hours. I'm kidding.
Rip
That's
off
crazy.
some tweets and texts to people.
Yeah.
Send some inappropriate text to Travis about how I can't stand people. I'm kidding. That
doesn't happen ever.
Nope. But the point is that like when I do things like that, it actually has a really hard outcome on Thursday.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Wednesday night, and that's all fine. And I get to meet up with my friends, and I feel socially good, and everything's going great. But then when I wake up Thursday, I'm waking up late. I'm sleeping in. I'm
Yeah.
tired. It's not that I even drank too much the night before, because I barely drank at all. But it's just, I don't have my evening routine, so I don't have my morning routine. And then I don't have my day set out.
Sure.
And those social things are really getting in the way of me, like, really overcoming some stuff. But also, like, I'm single, and if I didn't do those things, I may not even really see anyone outside of my parents and my brother all day. So I don't really know how to balance these things.
Sure. Well, congratulations on being an aunt, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
How cool is that?
World's greatest aunt sitting right here at the table with you.
All right, I'm taking this over. Okay, so
We're still going through each other.
Okay.
So now we can go to you. You tell us how you did on your
I'm
goals.
sorry I was so boring.
you're
You
not
weren't
boring.
boring.
You're not boring.
You
but
weren't boring. There's a lot of people who could relate to what you're talking about. There's plenty. of people.
Maybe
I think so.
not Travis.
not me right now.
You know what is a good thing that Travis could talk about? His goals.
I left last time we recorded just befuddled at what goal I should be doing.
Yeah.
And so I've wrestled with some things, but my whole goal right now, and the habit trackers honestly threw me off. I like them. But it was like I felt like I was in high school again, where I was an ADHD child and I wasn't understanding any of it and how it's going to help me to get my goal. So it kind of hurt me. They have these things even at jobs I've worked at in the past where they have the like a linear goal, and then they have like a mega goal, and then how do you get to the mega goal? So right now, my mega goal is just to try to figure out what I want to do with this podcast. And this past month, I have probably had more feedback, more information, more encouragement than I ever had in the past 2 years. And I don't know if it's because I've been asking the right questions to people. I don't know if it's because we're gaining momentum and there's more people that are wanting to jump on board and associate themselves with Full Buddy Cast. As listeners come on, they're messaging more. They're sending, like the Goalbuddycast thing was huge. I had a lot of interaction from people that were messaging me. That's why I guess I'm really excited about getting to what they say.
Yeah, I'm excited
what they want to do as well, so we can get to that. So my goal is kind of now focusing on rebooting Full Buddy Cast. And so in my next 2 months, I'm going to really sit down, figure out things on how Full Buddy Cast is going to move forward. I got some good insight from Eric Madrid. He came over and he sent me an Excel spreadsheet on budgeting and seeing what we need to do. I always thought everything was in merchandising. It's not in merchandising, which I was like, I need to sell more stuff. I need to get more stuff. Redbubble and shirts and hats and stickers. And those are all good things. But the real deal is just growing that community base, especially with you guys that listen. Like I need you. I need to hear from you. Like, so if you have feedback or if you have suggestions or questions or anything, message me. I'm listening all day. I'm getting messages and I'm shooting them back, and I enjoy it. So please, if you want to help me in my goal, is just to continue to offer not positive, but
Feedback.
The feedback, yeah, like where it's going to help.
Constructive.
So, constructive criticism, even,
Yeah.
yes. So that's my goal. I found my goal, and I'm time prioritizing it. So my habit tracker with this goal is, if I will think about this all day long, and that's wearing and that's tiring. And I'm sure Sarah, as a business owner, you've got a zillion other things, but you're always thinking about growing. And then you throw something in there, and it may or may have not happened this past month, where something kind of got thrown out there, and then you just like it's trying to derail you from what you're wanting to accomplish, and things get weird. And so for me, I just needed, I kind of needed the same thing. So what I've done with time prioritization is I will tell myself, okay, I'm going to think about the podcast or what I'm going to do. But with this daily planner, and I'm going to jot down notes, but then I'm going to stop thinking about it at a certain time. Like at noon, I'm done thinking about it.
That's time blocking.
And if it's, yes.
By the way.
Yes. And so that if it starts to pop up, I'll kind of, if it's a decent idea, I won't dwell on it. I'll just write it down real quick and then I'll move on.
Men are really good at that.
Moving on.
Yeah. Compartmentalizing is what I was thinking.
Yes, no, but and so I just need to do that, or else I'll just dwell on it for 24 hours a day, and it's the worst. I dream about it. So yeah, that's me. That's my goal. My habit tracking is to continue to block time out, and then it believe it or not, it's helped me with my own stress level, where I've got 4 kids, and so when they ask me a question and I'm already pondering something, and I'm like, my reaction is just because I've got something else on my mind. I can't be bothered. Mm-hmm. But if I tell myself I'm not going to think about this for the next 3 hours, I'm more engaged in my conversation with my family. Mm-hmm. I'm not mulling something over. I'm literally, brain is empty, and I'm attentive to people around me.
So one of your kids is just like, Dad, I'm hungry, and you're like, I'm gonna put this off for 3 or 4 hours.
For me, I'm like, they're like, Dad, I'm hungry, and then this other kid pops up, and then I'm already thinking I got to contact this person, that person, I got to get back to Adam or Sarah or Sean. And, I have my corn pops moment and it's got shrimp in it. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I've been following that diligently, and I'm so obsessed with it. So good.
So I'm good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So there's a couple things that eventually during this podcast episode we'll talk about that I think are going to help you.
Okay.
Let me check in on mine.
Yes.
So my or the thing I wanted to do was I wanted to declutter because I wanted an environment that would help me propel myself towards doing other goals. Okay. So part of that was using the habit tracker, and I'll talk about that in a second. But as far as decluttering went, it went pretty well. I did write declutter on my habit tracker as a thing that I wanted to track how many times I was going to do that this month. And so I decluttered about 4 or 5 times doing just different things, which kind of culminated in me saying, if I see a problem, I want to handle it in the moment. You know, it's kind of like see something, say something. It's like see something, do something. If I see this thing, just do it, right?
I have a mantra that's if you have a solution, you don't have a problem.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And so like that, I use that to rapid fire when I have a problem to rapid fire, like fixing it. And then that promotes me. But also when I have like small things around my house though, I'm like, you know, you see something, you see a little mess or whatever. And I'm like, if I have a solution, I have a problem, boom.
Yeah.
That thing is done.
It's done.
It
feels
like
good when you get
forces me to move on it.
Yeah.
I want to sell shirts with that. I like that. Boom.
I already trademarked it.
It's done.
boom, boom, it's done.
Yeah, no one will buy it.
Boom. It's done. I look at that mess over there and I go, hey, get behind me, Satan. I look at that mess and I say, boom, you're done.
Was I that bad?
No, it was a
Was
good way.
I that bad?
It was no, you'll hear it, but it was good. It was good. It's a good way of saying that.
God.
I like that. Okay, I'm done.
You know what?
Boom, you're done.
I'm taking back my life right now.
Adam.
Write that time on a thing so that you can edit that out.
That's not getting edited out. You need to learn from your mistakes. Adam.
Okay,
I'm
so
ready for them.
With the decluttering, I decluttered my art supplies because I've collected so many over the past decade.
Oh,
or
yeah.
two.
People buying you
it's
what?
crazy. So what's that?
People buying. Yeah, you gave me some.
I gave Madden a bunch of canvases, and I gave her an easel and stuff. And I just organized that. I got like an organizer shelf unit thing, just a little plastic thing from Fred Meyer that has drawers, which helped a lot. I organized, this is going to sound weird unless you know me. I have like a huge board game collection, and I organized all that, and I sold some, and I like have some
idea.
that are going to go to a friend's house who
Nice.
has a whole room for it.
Oh my gosh. You're the most efficient person in this group right
Yeah,
now,
you
I
are.
feel like.
Thank you. I'm also saying a lot of words per minute, which is really helpful. I think that's pretty efficient as well.
Well, because
I did just lower
Travis
my
pretty
ratio.
much just told you that if you don't hurry up, he's going to jump over you, which he did to me.
Sorry, Sarah, go on for
okay.
another 15 minutes.
It's okay. Listen,
Do you have it? Because I will.
I remember when I thought
That's
of
another
this-
shirt I want to sell. Do you have it? Because I will.
I already trademarked it, you son of a gun.
What else? Okay, so I want to talk about habits. I feel like I'm a kindergarten teacher right now, and I'm like, hold on. Okay, everybody.
Why?
Do you want me to raise my hand?
No, that's not what I mean.
Do you want me to raise
No.
You want me to raise my voice?
You already
Do you want to raise our
You
children?
will. You will raise your voice if we ask you to or not.
I'm so confused.
I love this.
The habit tracker. I want to talk about that because this could feed into.
Can we sing?
I do want
Can
to,
we sing
too.
about the habit tracker for a moment? I feel like that was a
No.
big thing last time.
What was the song?
Habit tracker. We go to many habits to track you. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
Habit
that's good.
tracker.
Habit tracker. That's good. I feel.
A lot of people like the habit
Yeah.
tracker, actually.
Yeah.
I was able to hand those out. You know, here's a crazy story. My daughter, Megan.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I told Sarah this last
I
week.
like this.
So Megan, she ran away. No, I'm kidding. She
This is awesome.
No.
Crazy.
Wouldn't blame her. Yeah, I gave her a ride.
This is
Kidding.
great.
I did not give Megan a ride
You did.
anywhere.
No, so-
I would never promote a child from running away from
So
their dad Who spends all of his time on a podcast? No, I'm kidding. I know that you actually take weekends off
Not really.
to be with your kids.
Not really. I take every other weekend. I just choose the weekend that they're not with me. Just kidding.
Yes.
So Megan had a bad day, and I knew she was having a bad day. I knew because we had just gotten into it, and she had gotten in with like 4 other people. And usually, when people are getting it with everybody, it's not that everyone's the problem. It could be them. And that was kind of where Megan was. And so I went into the, knocked on the door, did the dad thing, opened the door, and she's sitting on her bed, and she is writing in a journal. And I'm like, what are you doing there? And so she's highlighting, and she's got all her month, all days boxed out. And she has a color-coded, green was a good day, yellow was a okay day, red was a bad day. And so at the end of the day, she marks down if she had a good day, bad day, or whatever. She flips the page, and at the very top, she wrote habit tracker.
Oh, wow.
And she had 4 different areas on this page where she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She had like the month charted out.
Yeah.
And in it, she had exercise on one block. She had spiritual learning on another, homework on another, and I forget the other one, maybe chores. And she was just marking off all of the different, like, every day that she did one of those things, she would mark it off. And so she was tracking if she was doing those habits. And I'm like, did you listen to the Goalbuddycast? And she's like, what are you talking about?
So where did she learn that from? A class?
I don't know. She just said she came up with it herself.
I don't ask her questions.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm just
It's
I was
an accountability tactic.
I was surprised. I was as surprised as you.
I didn't come up with it myself.
Right. And so, but she said that she goes, I don't know. I kind of heard it. Or I think, but she got like, I wrote this out myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
She should write a book.
So that was
yeah. She's on the track of writing a book. If she's doing that at her age, I feel like
that's book time.
she's on
She
the
likes-
track of being.
Nothing was filled out though.
She
I'm
likes to
kidding.
read. Yeah. Well, she's on the
Gotta
track
work
of
on that part.
producing journals.
Yeah.
So
I know how to be accountable. I just can't be accountable,
Yeah.
which is same as me. So
Yeah.
actually,
We're
if
all-
Megan wants to
everybody's
get
like
bunk beds and be roommates, we're in the same place. I know it's really hard to like be accountable.
Yeah, it
though.
is. It's super
like
hard.
it's
Sure.
so easy to like sit down and have these conversations with you guys.
Yeah.
And like have the best of intentions because I really do have the best of
Yeah.
intentions. But it's so hard to like every day go and do all
Yeah.
all
The weekend thing
things.
for you is rough. Like I do not envy your weekend.
I slam about 40 to 50 hours per week in between Friday and Monday.
yeah.
I mean, that's half. I mean, that's a 5 days work week. 40 days or
Yeah,
40 hours.
But that's also when like most
crazy.
of my friends are also getting
Doing-
together
doing
and hanging
stuff.
out. So then,
Bugging ya.
I get really worn out on work stuff. And then, maybe Travis invites me out with a couple of friends and I
Yes.
can't really say no on a Friday or Saturday.
Right,
So
right.
it's like, it gets really tough then too, when I try to also squeeze in some social stuff. It's a downhill spiral for me
Yeah.
on
Yes.
those days.
Me too.
Yeah.
But also just like, I just want to mention drinking is a downhill spiral
Yes.
for me as
Yeah.
well.
I think everyone has time wasters
Sure.
or things that hurt them,
yeah. There's
and that's what habit tracker helps. Go ahead, Kate. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, we can talk about a little bit of this. I want to talk about atomic habits. In a
yeah.
little bit,
Oh
but
my gosh. It's like pivotal.
it is pivotal. Let's talk about the listeners now. and
Okay,
then we
so-
can get into some of that stuff.
So Casey Scott sent me this, and she hit this right away, and it was so crazy to me because I was still trying to figure out what my goal was going to be. I had no clue. You think of working out, you think of whatever. So she hit me up, and hers was gardening, and not like gardening, like she's putting a garden together. So she gave me a recap because she was kind of recapping me throughout, but she gave me the recap to read tonight. So again, my goals were to clean my kitchen every night to better prepare for the next day. I did pretty good. I had 2 solid weeks of perfection and then then the reality hit, and my family kept living here and making messes. So I did slack a little
love
bit
that.
the last week, but plan on continuing to clean it nightly. Then the other goal was to grow my flowers and veggies from seed. Now she was taking pictures of this. She was posting about this on Instagram and Facebook. And I did pretty good. Didn't have a good germination rate with almost everything. That just means that not all of my seeds grew. Sarah knows what I'm talking about. Sarah's the juice.
Grass and root.
Grass and root. She knows grass.
Oh, I thought you were
and
talking
root.
about that I'm single and childless.
That as well. You went deep there. So this week I replanted several of them. The ones that sprouted are doing great and under lights. So she's babying these plants, trying to get them ready.
She's doing it.
And I kind of feel we've been super cold. Like it feels like not super cold like we're in the 20s.
It's been very mild.
But it just seems like it's been like 30 to 40 degrees for like months.
Yeah, it's usually a little warmer than this because I think March is usually comparable to October. It's like the flip-flop of October.
Oh, is that
yeah.
what it does?
But yeah, it's been pretty mild.
I have no experience with growing things. And I have, tried recently with some houseplants, but it's definitely not on the scale of what Casey's trying to do. That would be like a dream of mine to be able to like have a garden that like feeds me and Howie.
Yeah, we definitely want to get a vegetable garden. Like we grow herbs, like chives and basil.
Oh my gosh, like how nice is that to like go dip into that?
It's nice. Yeah. It's
I'm making some pasta.
Like
I'm going to just like cut this
some
up.
off. Yeah.
That's so
it
nice.
grows right back. It's not like a vegetables where it's like a one-off,
right.
The herbs just keep growing. It's really nice.
Yeah. And I really appreciate that Casey just like jumped in so hard to like right at the beginning. She's like such a good supporter of everything. And she just jumped in and said what her goals were, and they were so different than what our goals were.
Totally.
Because when we initially said what our goals were on the Facebook page, she came in with something totally different, and that's what I was kind of hoping people to do was to. You don't have to come in with the same goals that we have,
right?
But just come in with your own. And she did come in with her own, and I really appreciated that.
It's not all about like bettering yourself necessarily in the way. It's like bettering your quality of life, and different people do that in different ways, and everybody does it in different ways over the course of time. So for her, it's like doing something constructive, and for us, it's doing something that's going to help us be constructive in some way.
Right?
Later.
Exactly.
So to throw out a few more things of goals for people, Holly Graff was a huge one. She was giving us updates all the time on the Peloton.
She has been.
She gave us shout outs also to Sara for dropping off habit trackers. She's been filling us in. I'll get to more of her in a second. My goal was to get my fence redone by my dad. That happened. But then that unloaded a lot of people doing what they're doing. My dad did.
I remember you saying that goal.
Yeah. What?
You didn't say that goal last episode.
No, but my goal, I figured it out. But AJ Harding said, finish the 2 pieces of furniture that are almost done and get them up for sale by early afternoon.
Nice.
And get another one ready to be put up for sale tomorrow morning. Try not to get fatter, having the most trouble with that part. I feel you. Sara said that my dad deserves an Ainsworth Boop sandwich. I don't know what she means by that. Holly Graff said, my goal is to find my friggin' passport by Friday.
Your dad
deserves it.
Yeah. What I meant was not my dad, not Greg, because a lot of people know Greg, and Greg is a good guy.
Yeah. What's my dad? What do you say about my dad?
I was saying that for your dad. For completing your fence, that your dad completing your fence,
yes, was my goal.
Deserves an Ainsworth boob sandwich.
Yes,
that's what I meant.
Absolutely, and
for clarity, because Greg does not deserve
super clear.
That.
That's super clear for everyone listening right now. What that means. Sara wrote my goals for the month of March. Lock down my morning routine. Any fans of the Miracle Morning up in here? Great book. Yoga and workout. Bands 5 days a week. 100% gluten-free, limit my alcohol, 7+ hours of sleep per night.
Most of those I haven't done.
I do love that tonight is is an example of you during the
I know. I got my hair done, and then we always get a glass of wine
Hey, you
afterwards.
gotta treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself. Holly was super thrilled about that. This is the Tim Noah thing came during this whole thing too.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy to me. Holly talking about her getting her third ride in.
Well, wait, what's the Tim Noah thing for listeners who
So
don't know?
Tim Noah, Fletcher Nelson said, "Hey Trav," like in one of the comments, kind of challenged me because I mentioned something about Tim Noah, and I don't know why Tim Noah came up, and then it was like, "Hey, get him on." And everyone has these good like memories that were reaching out to me. I think even Sara did too about Tim Noah.
My mom is actually actively looking at old photos to get pictures of me and Scotty at Tim Noah concerts.
So you're gonna
for
bring
you
it to
right
me
now.
so that I can.
So far, I only have pictures that me and Scotty are not in,
Yes.
Oh.
but I do have some photos. But we're working on those. We're working on those.
So April 14th, I'm meeting with him. I'm going up to where he's at. We've been emailing back and forth.
Oh, you're not allowed to
I've been
say
calling
where he's
him.
at.
Well, I'm going to be at his
He lives
theater.
at the top of the space needle.
Snoqualmie. Snoqualmie.
Well, it's Granite Falls, a little further.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I knew it.
Boom, you're done. And Adam posted about his habit tracker. Holly as well. Now we got to a few different. Kellen Hall says he's inspired after listening. He'd like to listen to more audiobooks and less podcasts. But we're gonna help him with
Bye,
that.
Kellen.
I think E. Drid hit me up. I was trying to find a goal. Dizzy Desi, as I like to call her. I just made that up right now. Trying to find a goal. She's trying to find a goal. But let me read this recap real quick. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. But here's one from Holly. Holly mentioned last week I wasn't able to do my Peloton because of my shoulder, but I did all of my meditation. And this week so far, I only need one more Peloton ride and 2 more meditations. Might sing Kumbaya later. I don't know if I'll have time, she said. So major shout out to those people that are doing theirs. If I missed you, I think Eric Madrid maybe even sent me a text about what his goals were. But I also been texting him a ton, and that would have been a ton of texts to go through.
You guys are sexting.
Yes, lots of sexting. So I had to delete a lot of photos. Anyway, we are no, but yeah. So those are. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Hit me up and say you're an idiot, Travis. But that's what we have.
Cool.
Adam.
I like it. So I just wanted to cover a couple things. I've been reading Atomic Habits at Sarah's suggestion.
Yeah.
I
okay.
I ordered
this
it on
is
Amazon.
On my vibe.
I'm enjoying it a lot. So I've read through the first maybe 80 pages or so, and it's really, really cool. And I think as a sort of encouragement to you, because you have such difficult weekends, right? I like that idea of doing the 1% change. Just like I think what we get even when we want to not get so ahead of ourselves and try to bite off more than we can chew. Like even if we say I'm just going to do a 1% change, we still try to do a 20% change. We think of a 20% change as a 1%
so
change.
true. It's so true.
So just do that. As long as you've got that trajectory, that's what matters, right? Because trying to do everything in the short term is going to be impossible, especially with habits. Habits require that long term, like being on your phone all the time. I'm kidding.
You listening right now?
Travis,
You
you
listen-
on your phone over
You
there.
listening? You're on your phone.
This part is what
Noah?
where I feel like all the other stuff is bullshit, but this is the part that we can all
Everyone fast forward to minute 40.
I legitimately.
Everything else is bullshit.
I legitimately. All that was garbage. That's hot garbage. Everything I just said.
hot.
This
hot.
This is what matters. I think it was hot. Hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
Garbage has never looked
I
so
will
good.
recommend Atomic Habits to anybody. I think anybody should read Atomic Habits. I think Travis, you should. I think
Same.
Sarah, you are.
I need to read it again, and I
you have read it before.
I have it.
I'm not trying to call you out. Just
Done it.
Just say yep.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading it. I'm enjoying it a lot. One of the things that I'm going to try to do, this isn't my goal necessarily, is try to reinvent my environment a little bit. which is a little funky because that's one of the things he does. He says, if you have a bad habit, you need to remove the cue, which is like the thing that triggers your
Yes.
habit. And if you want a good
Yes.
habit, you need
Sarah,
to
please leave.
incorporate it.
You son of a gun.
Boom, got
So
it. Boom, you're done.
What happens when I do leave?
but also
I changed the locks.
you start to associate different spaces with different habits and things, different areas. So, for instance, I thought of you when you're talking about being around your kids, like you're constantly working and you're working in the living room, and your kids are like coming up to you and like, "I'm hungry, Dad." Like that's just a matter of you having to separate
Get rid of my kids.
separate your family life from your podcast life. Like be in a different space, like a physical location, different physical location, and that helps. Like he talks about people watching TV in their bed or doing, and they have a tough time sleeping because they associate their bed with being awake watching TV. And that there's studies where people who are insomniacs, they're forced to stay outside of their bedroom until they get drowsy. Then they go into the bedroom, then they go to sleep. And then they start to sleep better because they can go back to their bed. They start to associate their bed with sleep. So your body, so that's the problem with a phone too, is a phone offers so many different things, games, text, internet surfing, all that different stuff. So you can easily get sucked in because it offers so many different habits for you to fall into. Anyways, Atomic Habits is awesome.
No, and that's a really good thing because it's cue, craving, response, reward.
Yes.
That's the whole life cycle of a habit, that you have a cue, that
some trigger
that you want to do what you want to do.
It could be good, it could be bad.
Yeah. And then you have a craving because you like in Atomic Habits that they used brushing your teeth as one of those. So you have a cue that you need to like brush your teeth, and then you have a craving, which your craving is to have clean teeth because we know that like
Feels good.
really good.
Refreshes, yeah.
And then the response is that you brush your teeth and then you feel it being really good. And then the reward is that your teeth are clean.
Yeah.
So that sequence is with everything.
So I'm going to ask this question then, because I think for us, brushing your teeth makes sense, right? But then there's some of us that have these habits and these cues that bring us to bad decisions. Not that they're bad once in a while, but all the time. Let's just say eating out.
Yeah.
Right? You get the cue, you're hungry. It's easy to go drive and you don't have to make yourself a meal. So you're going to go, you got your craving. So you're driving. Now you're spending money and you got satisfied from it and you feel decent-ish.
Sure.
But then you look at your bank account at the end of the month and you're like, man, I could have easily made myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I know it's not the same, but I'd have like $50 extra in my bank account right now. So how do you fight those types of cues and all that?
So I'm sure Sarah can speak to this, but from what I remember, and I've only read the first part of this book, but it up to this point, what he would say is you almost try to replace the reward or like try to eliminate the cue. So for instance, you might make your own kitchen, your own dining room, your own area where you could eat at home that much more attractive, where that you'll start to crave that. If things are easier to access, better food is available for you there, then the sort of and you're making it more convenient. Kind of like on the last episode, you were talking about your coffee habit, and you were like, you're making that whole coffee, not habit, but the coffee experience easier for yourself,
right?
Time saving. So you're trying to
set
create
yourself up for a good thing.
Exactly. You're trying to create a habit or create an experience that's going to introduce a new habit. And sometimes it's putting a habit on top of an already formed habit. So maybe you have some other habit of like recording your podcast, or not recording, but like editing your podcast. It's like, okay, immediately after editing my podcast, I'm going to go make myself a dinner or a lunch or something like that. And so now you're starting to create these sort of interweaving habits. So is there more do you have a better way of putting that, Sarah?
No, I think that you nailed it. But then I also want to add on top of that what I learned from Atomic Habits is that like, even if it's not you going out and legit doing a full out turkey dinner, turkey gravy, mashed potatoes, you name it. But it's just a matter of getting out of the habit of ordering takeout and just getting in the habit that you're doing this at home. That it could just even be you making ramen noodles at home. That if you do that 10 times, that is starting to correct the habit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just slowly starting to build on top of something. And
Yeah.
it takes, it's not as easy as just saying like, okay, like I'm going to make this more attractive. It's more of saying like, although you could try to do that, but it's also saying like, I mean, you have to put effort into it, a little bit of effort to say like, okay. And again, it's a 1% change. You're not trying to change overnight.
Right. And at the same, what I've also learned is that self-control is a exhaustible resource.
And he talks about self-control.
It's a finite. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You can,
Willpower is finite.
and so that's why
We're
people
not
make dumber
able to go.
decisions at night, is because
Sure.
they've been saying no to this
Yeah.
craving and that craving. And,
Yeah.
and so in the morning, they're great. They can say no to this. They can say no to that for the most part. But then you hit the afternoon, the evening, and next thing you know, you may be doing things that you wish you weren't doing just because your self-control is completely exhausted.
Sure, and that makes sense. And another thing he mentions in this book about self-control is that the people who exhibit the most self-control, kind of in quotes, are the people who actually just aren't around the cues that would make them create a bad habit. So, for instance, somebody who isn't around like if a phone is a bad habit for somebody, this person who is exhibiting self-control just isn't around their phone all the time. It takes more willpower to be around your phone and be like, okay, I'm not going to check it. 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 Than just not to have it near you. And so that person isn't actually having to exercise self-control because they're not anywhere near that thing that's triggering that response.
Can I share something with you that I figured out that I'm going to put on my habit tracker tonight? And I didn't realize I was doing it until you said that.
You don't have to put it on your habit tracker, though, if that's not working for you.
No, it is working for me.
Okay.
It is.
Well, just know that, like, that's just, like, one way of accomplishing things.
Okay. For me, there's some cues you can't get rid of. Phones, yes. But if you have a stressful work job, you can't just go, I quit, I'm out.
Sure.
I mean, maybe you can. And then when I'm sitting there and I'm stressed, I'm thinking about typically fun things that sound great right now, whether that is playing video games or going to Vegas or gambling or hanging out with my friends or having a drink. All things that kind of release these types of
Pheromones? Not pheromones.
where people get really
Endorphins.
horny around me.
Endorphins.
And so the endorphins are popping and those types of things. But one thing that I've realized is that we have, whether you believe in evolution or creation or whatever, we've come from a lineage of people that didn't have technology like we have it today.
Yeah.
And they've learned to sit around a campfire with their families. And they've learned to read. And they've learned to talk and tell stories. But I think one of the main things that I'm realizing is that I'm a memory guy. Mm. And so rather than trying to, I got to go do this again. I got to do this again. Remember when it's like, whoa, you know what? Rather than me think about how I got to go do that again, let me just sit here for 5 minutes, enjoy like that memory.
That's essentially like a form of meditation where you just kind of try to be like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to be still, and I'm just going to like be present
and
enjoy
right.
that,
and enjoy that
nice
memory.
To be present.
Like rather than me think about I got to be at a pool in Vegas with a drink in my hand. It's like, you know what? I've done that. Let me do this, and because that's just going to frustrate me, and it's going to make me I want time to move faster, and I'm not there, and it's not going to happen, and I'm going to lose it. But if I just go, you know what? Time out. For the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I'm just going to pretend. I'm just going to just remember that memory where I was in Vegas by a pool with a drink in my hand and take some deep breaths and just chill out.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to move on. I've kind of escaped reality for a moment. I've kind of had what I was looking to do. And now I can just go back to what I was doing.
That reminds me of a commercial from our childhood of
Corn Pops.
Golden Crisp.
Golden Crisp.
Where the Sugar Bear,
yeah.
He's like storming a castle
to
try to get his Golden Crisp. And he imagines, and the little like thought bubble comes out.
Yes.
A bowl of Golden Crisp. and he reaches inside his thought bubble and eats a piece
What
of
a
the
great
golden-
Oh my
analogy.
gosh.
And I always thought, as a kid, I was like,
super good.
why would he storm this castle to get this golden crisp if he can just eat the golden crisp that's in his thoughts?
That's I'm gonna
and
eat
why
the friggin' golden
that,
crisp of my thoughts.
That answers all questions.
Is that a book
in
title?
life.
That's a book title.
Yeah.
Eat the golden crisp of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Boom. You're done.
I don't know if it's a book title, but it's definitely a
Is it a
meme.
band name?
And
No. Golden crisp of your thoughts?
Golden
I'm
crisp
bad
of
at
your
That's
thoughts,
an
your
album, man.
thoughts. A golden crisp of your thoughts. I'll go golden crisp of thoughts.
Habit
Golden
tracker.
crisp of thoughts. Golden crisp of your thoughts. Don't go breaking your heart.
Don't go breaking it.
Don't go breaking your heart.
Your thoughts.
Habit
you
tracker.
know,
Now.
I was
Golden
going to
crisp of
bring
your
up
thoughts.
shrimps. I was going to bring up shrimps and the golden crisp, but I just think it's outplayed at this point.
It is. It is. Okay, so now what's next, Adam? I
so-
thought that was really good.
So I'm
That
gonna
was.
I'm gonna mention one other thing
Yes.
that might be helpful for people, and then we're gonna dive into, and I know you already kind of mentioned yours, but we're gonna dive into this month's goals for ourselves.
Okay.
So
And
What-
we've got goals for all of us.
Goals for
Yes.
days.
So one other thing, and Travis, this is kind of for you and anybody else, and Sarah, anybody who wants to sort of, who has a project. You have your business. Travis has his Full Buddycast project that could turn into a business, right? It is kind of a business already.
I'm getting paid nothing.
No, you got Patreon. You got Patreon.
I do. Actually, yes.
So, like,
thank you, Patreon people.
This has to do with marketing, etc. Right? I would recommend. I'm reading a book right now called Entreleadership by Dave Ramsey. He's the money management guy, but he
he's
also has
great.
a book all about being an entrepreneur and being a good leader. Entreleadership. Read it if you're interested in that sort of stuff.
I am.
One thing he mentioned is Zig Ziglar's Wheel of Life, which helped me with my habit tracker. Okay, I'll mention this. Keep it brief. The Wheel of Life is essentially this idea that you have 7 things that you can try to maintain in your life, kind of 7 plates you're spinning, but they form a wheel. And if any one of them is being ignored, you have a flat tire. And so you're not
Yeah.
going to be going anywhere, right? So this idea is,
or it's clunky.
or it's clunky, right?
Yeah.
Your life isn't operating as smoothly as possible.
Dun, 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 dun.
Those
You
are
can call
literal
that
sound
clunky. You can call that clunky, but it's flat.
That clunky
It's
monkey.
That
was
clunky
a
monkey.
fat
Dun,
beat.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, no, that's
thanks
a
for listening,
flat
everyone.
tire. That's a flat tire. You can call it clunky,
That's
but
what I
that's a
have.
flat tire.
I do have a flat tire. Or a spare tire. My bad.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
But so the idea is that you have these 7 things, okay? And so this is how I created my habits for the month.
Okay.
7 sort of realms. And certain realms are easier for some people and certain realms are harder. So like Travis, you might be really good with the social health, right? But you might not be as good with a certain another one. Okay, so
Right,
the 7 ones are this. And you can write these down if you want. But you can just look it up.
Write them down, everyone. We're going to give you a second to grab a piece of paper and a pen.
You can also just look it up online. Zig Ziglar's Wheel of Life. So this all has to do with health. So you can put the word health after this. So career health. So your job, what you do. Financial health. So how you spend your money or what you're doing with your money. Social health. How you interact with other people. How much time you spend with or on people. Spiritual health. And that might look different for different people. But that's one aspect that's helpful. Physical health. Obviously. Mental health, that's also pretty obvious. And then I think that's 6. The 7th is like relationship or family health. This has to do with your family or your marriage or your relationships.
When does group health
Or
get
that could
involved?
be kind of self-focused as well.
Is that 8th group health?
Group health, yes. So anyway, so those things.
Insurance joke, guys. Sorry.
That was really good. That played with a certain audience. So you can let those. So what I did is I took those 7 things. I wrote down one sort of activity I could do over the month. Something simple, kind of keeping in mind your habit tracker thing, the 1% change. And that's what I did for my habits. It was like, okay, reading something spiritual every day, doing some push-ups. I really failed on that one.
Same.
Doing decluttering. So each one fit each one of these sort of realms. So looking at my budget for finances. I think, what was my mental? I don't know, but like the relationship one, I wanted to pitch in with the dishes. So it was like, okay, dishes would be really helpful for me to help out with because I know Amber gets kind of stressed out with that. So I tried to track that a lot as well. So anyways, I thought that was helpful for me. Might be helpful for others.
I think that that's really helpful. And actually, I've seen something similar to that as being like a circle and then it having different levels on the outside. And I can definitely find this so that we can
throw it up on the Facebook
note
or
this
something.
on Facebook.
Sure.
But it was actually having people rate those areas of their life. That it was, and I don't know if those were the exact areas of the life, but it was actually rating those areas where, like, where do you feel like you are socially? Where do you feel like you are here, here, and here? And you rate it on like a
That's really
1
cool.
to 5 scale.
Yeah.
And then whatever one is lowest, you clearly see.
Just get rid of it.
That
No, you need to up that
you
one.
need.
Oh, you up that one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
I missed
that you
it.
need to up those things
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that one because I thought you were going down the same road that I was going to go down. So
Which is getting rid of whatever you suck at.
yeah,
No, I think you need to lean in where you suck at.
Yeah. Well, at the same time,
That's not. Stop
That's
giving
what
me
we-
a thumbs
that's
up,
what we
you
needed
son
from
of a
Sarah.
gun.
Sarah's always bringing up dirty stuff all the time.
Some people think that, but I'm
Using
a dog
that-
mom, for Christ's sake.
That's true too.
using that same terminology, but in a serious way, you also need to play into your strengths. I think playing into your strengths is huge.
Yeah, and that was actually like something that I learned from this thing that I saw like a long time ago, was that like you rate your thing and then you know what your strengths are, and then you also know like where you need to put in the effort to. That you know like, hey, maybe I'm not like the best at this, but I can be super good at this, and so I'll do this more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, so I like that too. Sorry, I thought you were going down this other route. Now, 3 years ago, when I was in IT, from where I work, they would break down things. It's called stories. And Adam and I have done this before. When you look to kind of accomplish big tasks, you kind of see what does that mean? What do I need to do for this big task? And you kind of break it down into 5 smaller tasks. And then in those 5 smaller tasks, you might break those down until you get to a manageable amount. And then you start looking at iterations. Could be a 1 week or 2 week. It's called a sprint. And you kind of weigh those, each one. What can I do now? You put columns up. This is what I want to do. And then you move them over. Today I'm going to move over. And this is what I'm going to work on. And once you work on it and you finish it, then you complete it. And you have sticky notes and you can map out this whole thing. If you're blocked in an area, you move it to blocked. And you write down why it's blocked. Because maybe as you're breaking things down and working through things, maybe you got ahead of yourself in some area. And right now you can't work on this until you start moving some other things through. And so it's blocked. So I started like writing down. I'm also a big video game guy too. Nerd alert. And where you create characters, and they have like, nowadays, it's like you got 40 different things that they have charisma at an 8 out of 10. And they have strength at a 4 out of 10. And they have health at a 7 out of, and they have all these different things. And so what I did was I started mapping out and writing down what were my energy zappers, what were constantly on my mind. And then I broke down why are they on my mind, and then what was the value I was getting out of it. Is this going to help me here? Is this going to help me there? Is this going to help me here? Is this going to help me there? And even though they were weighing on my mind forever, and as much as I wanted to get rid of them, it wasn't until I actually sat down and evaluated like 20 things and actually pen to pad saw that, you know what? This is killing me. I already knew this was killing me. I just needed to see that this is killing me.
What
And
was
then
it that was killing you?
Just me caring about what everyone thought. That was one of the things. And
that's
in
a
fact,
big one.
and I realized
I agree with that one.
that
for
my
myself
top
as well.
20 list, there were 5 names on there that meant nothing to me in the grand scheme of things. I'm not talking my kids. I'm not talking my wife. I'm talking about like maybe there could be a coworker that it's like really does that person, even though it could be a jerk or a zapper of your energy, maybe you just kind of like don't care about what they think anymore, right? I know that sounds weird, but you just go, you know what? I don't care what this person thinks.
That's good.
Yeah, that's fear-based thinking, and I feel like it happens with anyone, and it happens with everyone that's pushing any type of boundary that they've set for themselves and that society has set.
Yeah.
That like if you're trying to move forward and you're trying to get to any next level, and maybe your next level is not as big as your neighbor's next level, or
It's in a
your
different,
cube
totally
neighbor.
different realm.
Yeah,
you know?
like everyone's at a different space.
Right.
And it's like, I don't care if you're trying to learn to crawl, or if you're trying to learn to walk, or if you're trying to learn to run. Like, where are you at with that whole thing? And then, like, not being afraid of what other people are thinking of where you're at, and comparing yourself to others. And that's where, like, fear-based thinking comes into, like, goal setting a whole lot. That
It just is a zapper.
It's a complete
zapper. It kills your momentum.
And if you start actually, like, really diving into fear-based thinking, and then all of a sudden, like, for me anyway, I hear my friends saying things like, oh, yeah, well, I was going to do this, but then, and then whatever their thing is like completely invalid. It's a stupid excuse.
Right, it is.
It was just fear-based thinking.
Or it's something that they can't control at all.
No,
and that's
there's none of that.
And that's the thing.
I'm actually going, this is a good argument that we can have from here on out.
There's people in my life that weigh because of politics. They weigh themselves down. It's like, do you think that this certain politician even thinks about you? But you think about this politician all the time.
All the time.
And it's like, you can't control what's going on. This is, I mean, you can vote here and there, but there's reason that news media is such a huge thing, is because they know they can bring that fear in. Oh, this person's going to do this. This person's going to do that. You're going to lose this. You're going to lose that. It's like, and then you do. Can you stop it? Like, right? Let's say that person says, okay, we're doing this from now on. And what are you going to do? You're afraid about it for past 3 months, and they do it, and now what? Well, it happened. So kind of got to deal with it. But it just zapped your energy. It zapped everything else that was going on in your life for the past 3 months. And so anyway, that's what I was saying. You can't control it. If you can't control it, that was a huge thing that I saw too, is that in my list of those 20 things, get rid of the things I can't control. Stop thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I personally think that after a few years of owning my own business by myself and being single and not having anyone's income to lean back on, and this is no offense to anyone else, and I'm not pegging this on anyone, but I would peg anyone. I'm joking. That was a sexual joke.
I picked up on that.
Well, I felt like I had to say that when Travis looked at me like I was insane. And I was like, no, that was a sexual joke.
No, that definitely was.
Just joking, but I wouldn't peg you. Okay. But I'd peg other people. Okay. I'm kidding, I wouldn't. Anyway.
You know what? I've learned not to care what other people think.
Yeah.
And I can't control that.
I want to actually say that, like, that you can't control everything. Yeah, no, and you're actually not meant to control everything. You're only in control of what you do and what you want. And like, if you even say that, like, somebody else, oh, well, I couldn't do this because so-and-so, well, you're setting yourself up for an excuse right there. Sure. Like, that is an absolute excuse. Hey,
that's a Tim Noah song. Sorry.
Wiggle waggle waggle woody woo. Yeah, no, but we can't get into the thing of, like, thinking that other people are controlling what we do. And sure. I know that that's like, okay, now we're getting into politics. No, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to wear a mask. Guess what? I still go on with my happy ass life just the way that I want to.
Is that a sexual joke?
Kind of. But it's like, you have to keep going, even if there's always going to be boundaries in front of you. And it's almost like hurdles that you have to jump over to get to the finish line. And I honestly believe that that's what it comes down to, is that like, okay, so you want this goal? We're going to throw this, and this in front of you, because it doesn't just happen because you want it to. We're actually going to throw so many things in front of your way and see how agile you are and see what you can accomplish. And if you are able to deal with adversity, and if you can get to your goal. If you are rigid in what you feel like, or if you're rigid in what you believe, and you're rigid in how you think you're going to get from point A to point B, you're going to fail. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to ever tell anyone they're going to fail, but I am going to tell you you're going to fail if you think it's going to happen one way and one way only.
Yeah.
It's not going to.
Yeah, there's always a different path that it takes, and there's always other options. I think a lot of people get bogged down with like, it's either A or B. That's it. And it's like, no, there's C and D and E and all these other options. But I think we need to realize that that some things we think are limitations are not, and some things that we think aren't limitations are. I think there are limitations in life, but I think we often think of some things that we think of as limitations are not actually limitations on us. I just summed up everything.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I bought the wrong juicer to begin with, and then I sold it on eBay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this real quick. This is like before I even had a juice truck. I bought the wrong juicer. I sold it on eBay because I need the money so bad. I sold it on eBay for a deal. I connected with this gal that bought it. She lived in Tri-Cities.
Oh.
She was opening up a juice bar there. I was opening up a juice truck. She had a contact in Georgia that was also opening up a juice truck. The three of us started a Facebook group for juice bar owners.
Oh, that's awesome.
That ended up 4 years later, I ended up getting a heck of a deal on a commercial juicer that someone was selling because they were going out of business. But I also gained two people in my life that at any time, any adversity that I'm going through, they understand what it is. Yeah. And so our biggest fails, they seem like fails at the time, but how fast can you recover from that? And how quick can you keep going? And some of those things are just so meant to be so that we can get to where we are. So I appreciate the times that I fall on my face. I don't want those times to go unnoticed for anyone.
Sure.
Because those are what make or break people. Mm-hmm. That if you stop then, well, that's where you stop. But somebody else kept going at that point.
Yes. Sage advice. So I think we spoke through a lot of good things. Let's just recap or introduce our goals for this next month. I think Travis already spoke to his a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so for Full Buddy Cast, I'm going to use Eric Madrid's SWOT, strength, what's the W? Weakness, opportunity, and it's a T, which I think is like threat. There we go, threat. So basically it's a chart where as you are figuring things out, what's a strength, what's a weakness, what's an opportunity, what's a threat. And as I break things down, I'm going to go show by show, host by host, guest by guest, reevaluate some things, and go through that reboot. So that this month, I'm going to be going through the SWOT for Full Buddy Cast.
Well, I want to really applaud you on doing that, because that's a startup business thing that most people should be doing when they're starting a business. And so I know that this has been super organic for you. And so the fact that you're diving into this, acting like a startup,
that's awesome.
Because that's exactly what the heck you should be doing.
Thank you.
So
yes.
I'm stoked about that.
It's our 5-year anniversary for Full Buddy Cast, June 8th. So I think that's going to be kind of my goal to reset a little bit. Reboot, I should say. Reset. So that's my goal for that too.
Can we do a golf tournament?
Yeah. Oh, we'll do it all. We've got cruise planned. I'm kidding. But yes, I want it.
I would love a convention in the middle of Enumclaw.
Yeah, there's
just 20 of them.
Yeah, it's a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You dress up as your favorite fantasy or Full Buddy Cast person.
And
No
there's like
one.
there's like a 3-day weekend planned, and
Yeah.
there's all these panels, and it's just us.
Yeah.
Every
and
panel
a
is
whole
just
bunch
us
of people walking around with red lipstick.
I don't wear red lipstick.
I do.
No, I know. I'm joking.
I know. That was my joke.
You're done. All right, you're up.
Okay, so my goals for next month are I feel like I actually feel like I failed my March goals and they need to roll over.
Okay, that works.
And I don't like saying that. But I do want to
That's
say
honesty,
that.
though.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
It's
vulnerable.
honestly and accountability, and I do want to just say that.
Yeah, we were talking about vulnerability last episode. It's very vulnerable of you. It's a commendable thing.
Yeah.
I think what your last month's goals, I think, had to do with creating habits and also talking about decluttering a little bit for yourself.
Yeah, and I have decluttered, and I've
Well, that's good.
my house is spotless, and everything's good there. But where I have failed is just like my health goals. Actually, I guess I should say this, that I got a food intolerance test done, and I found out that I have like way more intolerances to foods than what I thought.
Really?
Yeah. And so everything that I thought when I was eating good, it's actually kind of turned upside down, and those are pretty much also not okay. And so I have a really small area of things that I need to eat and drink.
Do you have to detox from those, or can you like eventually like introduce them back into your diet, or probably not?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm wondering. I need to eliminate all of them for a few weeks and then gradually introduce them back and see if that is okay for me to eat, or if I like break out in hives or something. But like, for instance, I've been gluten-free for a long time, and I lean on almond milk, almond meal, almond flour.
Small nipples on the almonds.
Small nipples on those.
Yeah.
Yep. They've got real small nips. And then I found out that I was intolerant to almonds. And so I eat almonds like all day, every day, like with my coffee.
Why can't you be more tolerant of almonds?
You know what?
Sarah?
I'm so intolerant of so many things. And it's actually really brought up how intolerant I am with my social life as well. I'm kidding. But so I just want to like really dive deep into what I need to eat and drink so that I can be the happiest and healthiest person that I can be. Yeah. That's like my number one goal, and with everything. And that's also a habit. It's just
nice.
That's it.
Yeah,
sorry.
nice.
Thanks. Sorry.
Oh, sit down.
Also, stop
sorry.
saying sorry so much.
Sorry.
I
think we've lost
forgiven.
her. I think we need to charge her. Battery is low, and we need to charge her back into the wall.
Sorry.
I need some wine.
Probably not. I'm helping you.
don't.
I'm helping you with your goal.
Thanks. Hey.
So we don't-
well, for the first time, he's helping with my
So
goal.
we don't roll you. We don't roll the same goals into May.
Hey, yo.
I'm kidding. Adam, what about you,
No,
buddy?
that's good. So I need to redesign my website. So that is my goal for April.
Can you do that?
Cool.
Yeah, I can redesign it. So I designed my own website originally, and I have the domain and everything like that. So I can redesign it. I want to learn WordPress a little bit better, like HTML type stuff.
Sarah does her own too, right?
I do.
She's a
Yeah.
dominatrix.
I do.
She's a
That would
dominatrix.
be that's
That's good.
very sweet of you to say that. But I'm not very good at WordPress, but I've got a
Okay.
little bit of HTML in my background, and I'm very good at Shopify.
Shopify. Oh,
Yeah.
I think I have Shopify on the WordPress. Yeah.
So the cool thing is that now you guys can kind of bounce ideas off each other
yeah.
here and there.
Well, here's something that I learned.
but not right now.
Well, just real quick, because this is something I want to do with my website. The Entre Leadership book that I'm reading by Ramsey, he talks about a funnel approach to designing your website or marketing, which is like the idea that you try to attract 100 or 1,000 or however many people, a large amount of people, and then you funnel them into the people who are going to actually buy your product, and then the people who are going to pay more because they want the personalized type stuff. And so one thing I want to do with my website is offer a good way to funnel people in is to offer free things. So some free videos, some free, like for artists or for people who are purchasing art, some articles that might help them decide on things, or I don't know, just throwing some free stuff out there that might help attract. I think one of my problems in the past is I've thought about doing free stuff that I would ship to people. And it's like,
Nope.
that's not a good way of doing it.
Yeah, it's too much money.
Too much money, too much investment.
Well, you also need people to put some skin in the game.
Right. So anyways, this whole funnel thing.
So Adam, whatever
Yes.
I can do to help with
Yeah.
that. I have a background in real estate where lead gen and online leads and how to funnel that. I mean, the sales funnel is pretty, you can apply it to any business. And this is what's so crazy is that you can apply these same tactics to almost any business and like still see the follow through on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just last year around this time, I started applying these same tactics to grass and root because I thought like real estate was a little bit slimy, which it is, and, or it can be. And so I started applying those same things into my own business that were not so slimy, like in a really like heartfelt way of not doing it to put a calendar on your fridge, but like, how can I put a habit tracker on your fridge?
Yeah.
That's where my habit tracker actually.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So like, how can we not just upsell people all the time,
Right.
but how can we create value for somebody
Right.
else?
Which is it's a tough thing to think about. And it's something where you do, like, I do feel like, okay, I'm becoming like you can ride that line between becoming that salesman that you don't want to become.
Yeah.
And you might have the best idea. It's like, but how can I twist this into something that I'm not going to be that? I want to be my genuine self.
And you don't have to show up on somebody's fridge to be a reminder for them.
Right.
I think that like, especially with art, it's so crazy. And so many artists, I mean, forgive me, but are really bad at the business and marketing side.
Absolutely.
They're so good at the other side that it's a left brain, right brain thing.
Yeah.
And so whatever I can do to help you with that, I love creating customer experiences.
Cool.
Like
Perfect.
from beginning to end, whatever I can do, I would love to help.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes to selling, is that we're so quick to want the immediate right now. Like we want like this sale, but we don't also fail to realize is that there are people around the corner that they're going to be the longer customers. They're going to be the ones that you're building towards, and they're the ones they're going to be the ones that you really want to keep around.
Right.
Everyone's jumping on the next thing. Everyone, and I know that there's people that are listening to this right now that will listen to Goalbuddycast for maybe a month or two. And maybe you're one of those people. That's fine. Thanks for listening. But there'll be other people that jump in and then they're here for the long haul, and that's great too. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. I think we covered everything.
oh, I'm doing 40 push-ups too by next time. And
Okay,
You're
get
gonna do
down
40
on the
push-ups.
flow.
I did 15 and I'm sore and dead right now. But I'm
Go ahead. I mean, I'm ready to count, and I go from 1 to 40. I can't count that. Go ahead.
I don't think you can.
Well, that's funny.
Boom, you're done. Goalbuddycast. Goalbuddycast. Goalbuddycast.